I'm your host, Fabiola Lara, and today on the stream, I'm going to be sharing all about how to add hand-drawn animations into your videos. So that way you can make them more personal, especially if you're an artist or a designer and you want to actually have your handwriting on your videos. You're going to want to watch this video. It's going to be really fun. Let's pop on over to my desktop and let's get started. So a little bit about me, if you aren't familiar with my work, I'm an illustrator and designer, and I'm also a content creator. That's why I'm here. So these are some of the Instagram vote stickers I've made. I've done a ton of different kinds of illustrations for the LA Times, for all sorts of places. All right, so that's just that way you know who you're talking to here. Now, let's move on to our project. So here's the project that we're going to be working on. If you follow me on Instagram, then you've seen this video on my feed, but we're redoing it and adding some really fun original illustrations. Okay, so let me play you the original video? No, let me play you the video with the new handwritten features in it. I'm playing with a lot of different things in this video just so I can show you a lot of different techniques you can use for your own videos. So let me make this full screen here. Okay, and let me play you this video. It's really short.
All of my mini prints are made here in Philadelphia. From designing, to printing, to cutting, and packaging. Every step of the way is made with love here in our city. All of my mini...
Okay, wait, hold on. I hope you were able to see all of that, but if I play it in full, you can see here the resolution's a little better.
And packaging. Every step of the way is made with love here in our city. All of my mini prints...
All right, so I use a ton of different effects. Here I have this little accent over my head following me. Here I have Philadelphia kind of jumping up and down. And then here I have my own handwriting, actually handwriting it out. There has to be the right word here. Let me know what word I'm forgetting to use. And then here I also have these sparkle effects that I made, and then it goes into our city. So tons of different things to show you here. Now, like a lot of tutorials, there are a million different ways to go about this. So I'm going to show you a few different techniques. You pick the one that makes the most sense to you. And if you have any questions along the way, please drop them in the chat. I'm watching the YouTube chat. I'm watching the Behance chat. Hey, Penny, I'm so glad you're enjoying this series. Hey, Sean. Hey, Clever. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Let's get into all of this tutorial. So the first thing that I want to do is show you how I would go about doing this if I had Adobe, if I didn't have an iPad or anything to write onto the computer with. So this is kind of the most accessible version of animating and handwriting that I could think of, that I think everyone here will be able to do no matter what level you're at. So in Adobe Express, you're like, why are we in Adobe Express? It's just to create some of the handwritten type. So if you go into here, press the plus button and type in hand or draw, there we go. Click on drawing, you get this canvas. Amazing. And if you didn't know, Adobe Express is free, so anyone here can go on and start playing with it. And this is basically like an online paint tool that you can use to create any sort of little drawing. Of course, because I'm using a mouse right now, it's not going to be the most accurate thing, but you can use it. You can make simple little illustrations and bring them into your videos if you want to just give it a little personality. So I'm going to decrease the size of my stylus right here. And there are all sorts of tools. You have different options for the brushes. Check it out. Extremely handy for all sorts of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and just use the hard round so you can see it. And I'm going to change the color to a really bright yellow because I want it to be very visible. Okay. Now, all you have to do is like draw the thing that you want to put in your video. So one simple one you could do here are these little accent marks. Another simple one is just to have it say like, hi. Okay, hold on, I'm gonna try and write this better. What if we do cursive? Maybe that will work better. Okay, perfect. And then I'm gonna scroll down and I'm also gonna do like the little accent marks. Okay, so these are like two really easy ones you can do, and make sure you turn the background to swatches and no background. So now you can see here that we don't have a background on this. Great. Now you could just download this and bring it, but it doesn't have animation. So an easier way to add some of this animation without having to open After Effects or keyframe every single thing that you want it to do is to go back to like your homepage of Adobe Express, hit new, and we're gonna create one. Honestly, the size doesn't matter, so we're just gonna go with square. Perfect, this is just like a new file. I'm gonna change the background to black, or it's nearly black. Let me actually pick black. There we go. And then I'm gonna go to my stuff, and here it is, the one that I drew just 2 seconds ago, and it's on a transparent background. So all I'm gonna do is like double click it so I can get these controls. I'm gonna isolate the high. Boom. And I'm also gonna copy and paste and move over the wiggles. So now we have the wiggles by itself, the accent marks, whatever we wanna call them, and the high by itself. So what I would do here is make this like really big. Okay, and I'm gonna change the opacity to this off for a minute so it's not in here. And then we go into animation, see, and it has here open in Express Drawing if you wanted to add more information or like draw something else. So I'm gonna go to animation and I'm gonna go to loop because I don't know where I'm gonna put this in my video. And I have all these different options. So I can have it jitter, I can have it spin, maybe wiggle. Wiggle's kind of cute, or pulse. Which one do you guys think? All right, let's see. I'm gonna just go with the wiggle. No, I can't decide. I'm gonna go with pulse. Okay, great, there we go. And we have this black background because that's how we're gonna export the video. So here you just go to download and you can download it as a video. So go ahead and do that, download the video. Starting the download. Perfect. I'm just checking here in the comment section. If you have any questions, be sure to drop them today. All right. So now I have it here. Now don't look at my downloads folder. It's chaos. That's where I don't have my life together, is in my downloads folder. Okay. So I'm gonna bring this into the actual project folder. Grab it, click, and drag to the graphics. So this is my actual project file. So I dropped it into here so you can see I have a ton of graphics that I've made to share with you guys. So from there, it's just a matter of adding it into my project. So I'm gonna find it on my Finder, and then I'm gonna grab it. So I have this one, it was untitled, we didn't name it, and drag it into my graphics folder in my actual Premiere Pro project. And if you want kind of some background as to how I set up my project, you can go to the Content Support Group episode 1. I talk a little bit more about that over there, but today we're just focused on getting these animations done. So once it's in my graphics folder, I'm gonna double click it. Here it is, let me play it for you. So it's like 5 seconds of this. Perfect. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna just take like, I don't necessarily need all 5 seconds. My video is only 10 seconds long. So I'm gonna use like half a second or something. Set my in and out point using the I and the O. And then I'm gonna drag the video into my timeline. So I put it over here so it's not like in the main part of my timeline. It's not like in the actual edit because I have set the in and out point. because I like to put it like kind of off to the side and then move it in. That way it doesn't like accidentally hit something or like override something. Okay, so I'm going to click it and I'm going to put it to where I think it should go, which is probably in the beginning if we're saying hi. So, okay, look at that. That looks terrible. Oh no, this is not fun. This is not looking the way we want it to look. Please stop. Wait a second. Don't freak out. Go to effects and type in color. And you'll get this one here called color key. Drag this effect onto the clip that we're working with. Okay, nothing happened. That's exactly how it's supposed to be. Now in the effect controls panel, you'll see the color key effect has been applied to this clip, so it's now in there. If at any moment you don't find one of the panels that I'm talking about, go ahead and hit window and then select the panel that you need. So right now it's effect controls, but if I didn't have it selected, like if it was, I don't know, I was stuck over here and I couldn't find it, if you hit effect controls, it'll pull it up for you. So you should never be super lost. I see here Chewy's Graphics in YouTube asking me how did I export it with a transparent background? I didn't. All I did was draw it in Adobe Express and then bring my Adobe Express drawing into another file to actually animate it. But this file here is transparent. But it's not a video file. This is just like a flat file. It doesn't have any motion to it. So I'm just gonna realign it there and I'm gonna set this background to black. When you export the video, you wanna set the background to a color that is not the same color of the text. If I set it to the same exact color, then we have nothing here. That would not work. So you want it to have a high contrast with this part, the part of the actual drawing. Now we jump over to, back to Premiere Pro. Oh, it's just blocking it. And so we have this color key. Now I'm gonna use this eyedropper tool to select the black. So you can see how that changed from blue to black. And I'm gonna increase my color tolerance. And as I do that, you'll see the black disappear. It was quite fast there. It kind of caught up very fast. Oh, and the reason the color's all off is because I have it under all of these LUTs. So let me real quick, I know this, doesn't that look intense? I'm gonna move this clip, which is the animated clip, above all of my my LUTs and my exposure and my coloring. That way it looks like the bright yellow that I want it to look like. So now, because we asked using the color key to remove, basically make transparent anything that is black, similar to how a green screen would work. Now we have this clip with no background, so it's essentially a transparent video, which you can't really export. And I'm gonna mute all of the audio so we don't hear my voice 100 times. Okay, so from here, we can see that now it's animating. That was very short. I'm gonna extend it just so we have it for longer. Okay, so now we have this, but we need to actually make it useful. So now all you need to do is click this little toggle direct manipulation. It's right here. Look at my mouse, it's right here. And now from here, we can actually just like edit where this goes. So I'm gonna hit Option and Shift, which is gonna allow me to scale it down from the center, maybe like that size. And then I'm gonna grab it and move it. So maybe like to right here. I can also like put it off center, maybe like that. Let's see what this looks like. Okay, so that works. So of course you can have it say hi, you can have it be anything you want. That's just an example of one quick way to do it. Another, if we go over to back to our Adobe Express, if you remember, we made 2 of these. So I'm going to delete the hi. Here's the other one. I'm going to bring back the opacity of it, which was these little like accent squiggles, because you don't always have to animate text. You can also animate like little pops like this. So I'm going to go over to animation in, and maybe I'm gonna have it pop in like that. Ooh, I love that. I'm gonna preview it for you again. You see how fun that looks? I love how that looks. Okay, so I'm gonna have it do that, and then in terms of looping, maybe, I don't know if I'll have it do any effect other than that. Maybe a little wiggle. Let's see what this looks like. Oh, I kind of like that. Did you see it? It like pops in and then it starts to do a little wiggle. So I really like that. I'm gonna go ahead and hit download. So again, I'm downloading it with this black background, MP4, because that's the best for video, and I'm gonna hit download. So this is just like one way that you can easily, without having to like open another entire program, just with a browser, start adding those little handmade elements. And like you saw in the Adobe Express drawing options, there's a lot of different tools you can use to draw some like funky little illustrations to make your videos just a little bit more you. Okay, I'm gonna open this Finder. I'm gonna actually title this one Accent Wiggle. And then I'm gonna go into here and move it over to my graphics folder. Perfect. And I'm gonna open Premiere Pro. Oh, I typed wiggle wrong. That's weird. Wiggle. Okay. I'm gonna pop on over to the actual project so I can see all of my folders there and drag this accent wiggle over to graphics. So now I have accent wiggle in here. Let's play it through. Cute. I feel like I can use this for so many different videos. And now all you have to do, again, the last final step is to go into Effects, type in color in the search bar and find the color key effect, drag it onto the clip. So it's this one. And then again, you see how this is blue? We don't want it to be blue. We want it, oop, where did it go? How come it's not, oh wait, I didn't drag the effect in there yet. You guys, that's why, okay. Go to Project, Accent Wiggle, which already we saw it here. I'm gonna do in and out, drag that clip into my timeline, put it where I want in my actual sequence. I'm gonna put it in the beginning just to show you how I would do that. Let me move this up a little bit. Okay, so now we have this clip right here. So now if I put my playhead right there, you'll see that I have that background plus that video. So now go into Effects, search for color, grab the color effect and drag it right on top of that clip. Now, this is what I was saying right here. The key color is bright blue. There is no bright blue in this, so nothing will happen. Click this eyedropper and hit the background. In this case, the background for me is black. If you had set it to red, it would be red. Whatever you do, you want it to be a high contrast between basically the like element that you want to bring in and the background. Okay, and now we just play with the color tolerance. Almost immediately, it starts to remove the black, and then you can decide like how much of the black it should remove. And the more you remove, obviously, like the better, but sometimes like depending on your drawing, it might be too much. So like that kind of worked out here. You can also kind of move the edge and make it thinner or thicker, a lot like when you're masking in Photoshop. And you can also feather the edge. In this case, I don't need any of that because the drawing tool that I used made it really like bold and bright. So now we have this wiggle. Let me show it to you. There it is, and it's actually wiggling the way we want, and we didn't have to like spend a ton of time keyframing. Now, the wiggle that I have that is seen here, I drew using another technique, which I'm gonna show you in a second, but just for the sake of this, I'm gonna go ahead and turn that one off, the previous one off, so we can have the one that we just made. So right here, that's the one we just made. I'm gonna hit again the toggle direct manipulation so you can manipulate it in here. It's super handy. And I wanna put it like right over my head, right? Okay, so like maybe right here. This one's a little too big, but I'm gonna, okay. Okay, that kind of works. It's subtle, it's cute. It's a realistic use case. All right, so from there, we have it like that, but like, look, it's not moving with me. It's just like floating in that video. It's not cool. We don't want that. We don't want that. Now we're gonna do the tiniest amount of keyframing, okay? Just like stick with me here. You're gonna be okay. If you've never done keyframing, this is gonna be a blast. So go into, make sure you have selected the clip that you want to animate. In this case, it's that little wiggle mark right there. From there, you want to hit properties. And now you want to put, no, I'm sorry, not properties, effect controls. We were in the right panel. And you want to drag this playhead to the beginning of this clip, or maybe in our case, like when it pops in. So right around there. Again, you want to hit this toggle direct manipulation. And now we're just going to like move it where we want it. And if I open this window, I can see like all the position, the scale, like everything about this clip. I just want to hit position. And you can hit scale if you want. Then I'm going to move it to like another part where it's dramatically off. So look, now my head moved over here. So again, I'm going to hit the toggle direct manipulation and just move it. And you see it already created the new position for me. If I had scaled it, it would create the scale, but I didn't scale it. And so now we just like, sometimes I just like go to the very end and then I move it to the final destination, which is like right here. You can see it's creating this little track for it. And now it's done. That was a pretty short clip. Obviously, if you were tracking something for a ton of time, like that would be quite tedious. But for little bits, it totally works. So let me see if I can zoom in here real quick. And now we can watch it and then we can make corrections. So here we go. So it's not quite floating like with me. So all I would do is just like keep keyframing to make sure it stays where I want it to stay. And I love using the direct editor because then I don't have to spend a ton of time doing it. So right there, and if you go slow, you can kind of see where it's at. Maybe there, here. And I'm just moving it every few frames. This isn't perfect. It's not like every single frame, but it's like when I'm like dramatic, the camera, when my head dramatically moves around essentially. There we go, much better. So it was very short, but I was able to keyframe it, just stick like it around my head. And because we animated the actual element using Adobe Express, you don't have to animate like the pop in or the wiggle, which are things that you could animate directly in here, but I just wanted to show you like a very approachable way to do this. All right, so now I've shown you how to bring in an animation and have it animate in your design. So we did it with the high, which was right here, but I also use that same technique with the high with this Philadelphia. It's the same exact technique. I just picked a different animation style. And then I showed you how to do the actual keyframing of the animation in case you want to do that too. And now I'm going to show you a little bit of a fancier one because I know a lot of people do have iPads at this point. And I think you may, if you tuned into this, want to actually use your iPad to draw something like more, more refined, more precise. So I'm going to show you how I would approach doing that. And there are tons of different techniques. This is just the one I'm showing you. So I'm going to hit save and let's see, let's make sure. Okay. All right, let me pop on over to my iPad and show you some stuff over here. So here you can see the original wiggle that I made. I made it using the iPad. And I have a ton of animations that I made just to share with you like different options. But in this case, I'm gonna go ahead and hide everything. And you know what? I'm gonna start from the beginning so you can see like my actual settings. So in here, I would just go custom. I actually have custom size. And then I would do 1080 by 1920 because that's the same dimensions as my video. You could, if you knew that your elements were going to be small, you could just do like a small canvas. But if you do this size of canvas, you know that you're using kind of like the entire space of your video, which could be handy in some use cases. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit create. And now we have this white background. I'm not sure if you can totally see the edges of this. It looks pretty white on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the paint bucket to select black, which is right here, and then drop the paint bucket. Oh, I need a new layer. There we go. Vector, and now we have the black background that I was telling you about earlier. Now it's time to draw. It's time to draw what we want to actually put into our video. So I'm going to go ahead and use the paintbrush, and I'm going to go find like a bright yellow. I find that bright yellow really like pops in any type of video. That's why I like to use it. If your video is like kind of dark colored, you could use white and be totally fine. It's just that it depends on the color scheme of your video. And I think chunky white would work on mine, but I don't know, I want to use yellow, so let's use yellow. All right, and from here, it's just time to draw what we want to draw. So if we go to my video, there was a section in the video where I say, from drawing to paint, or from drawing to printing to cutting and packaging. I want to have every single one of those like action words. So like designing, cutting, printing, those words. I want them to come into my frame like handwritten. So in order to get the effect where it's actually handwritten, I think the easiest way to do it, again, I've tried a lot of different ways to do this, so there are many ways, but the way that I find to be actually the simplest is this. All right, I'm gonna zoom into my frame, zoom into my Adobe Fresco canvas. I am going to make sure this is the brush that I want. That's not the brush that I want. I kind of want like a thicker brush, but still hand-drawn feeling. Maybe this one? No, that's too textured. I could be here all day, but I won't. All right, I like that. It's like blotty and textured. And let's make sure that it's like the thickness that I want, which right now it's a little too thick. Maybe that's too thin. This is like something that you need to figure out as you're working. I think that's good. Oops, no. Okay, and now this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna drop down, you're gonna hit screen record. Okay, it's screen recording. We can see it up top. You see that little red dot? And now you're going to write the thing that you wanna have come in like handwritten into your video. So for example, in this case, it was designing. So I want it to be like cursive-y. So I'm gonna do my best here. Oof, I like held my breath. Okay, designing. If I look at that word for too long, I don't think I wrote it right. So you could do that and then turn off the screen recording. And then from there, we're gonna jump on over back to the project. And all I'm gonna do, actually wait, I forgot to show you something. You're gonna go hit export, publish and export, and you have all these options here. Quick export is gonna be like a PNG. You don't want it to just be a PNG. That's not gonna, or wait, no, I forgot. We don't actually need this static image. We already did the screen recording. Sorry, that's what I was doing, and then I confused myself. All right, so if we go back to the project, all you have to do, I'm gonna airdrop that video that we just recorded from my iPad. I'm gonna airdrop it over to my MacBook. Okay, receiving video, perfect, here it is. I'm gonna open my other Finder window, grab that screen recording, put it in my graphics folder. I should name it, so I'm gonna rename it Designing V2. So here's that video. It's basically just like a screen recording of me writing, designing. It starts like right here. So something I like to do well, no, from here you just want to, there's a lot of different options for how to do it, but what I like to do sometimes is just open it. I'm trying to think the best way to do it that I want to show. There's so many ways. You could have cropped this video in like your photo roll. You know, you can just crop a video and trimmed it. I didn't do it in this case. I just brought the whole screen recording in, so I'm going to show you how to do it that way. But you can always save yourself one step by just like really quickly doing it right in your like photos. So I'm going to jump on over to project. I'm going to bring this file over, Designing V2, drop it into graphics, double click it, and I have this full screen recording. Now, if you haven't caught on, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to keyframe the black out. So I'm going to go in to out and drag that part of the video into our timeline. So you see it. Oh, that's, there we go. So you have it here. Now, of course, it's way too big. So I'm, again, making sure this is toggled on. I'm just going to scale it using Shift and Option. And now I have it smaller. And then, because we only want this part of it, I'm just going to do a quick mask, which all you have to do is open this opacity in the effects controls, hit opacity, then create 4-point polygon mask. And now you can like, wait, I have it at a part where I can't see. You just want to like make sure that you have the entire section of the handwriting and nothing else. So I'm just going to move these to make sure. Again, because this is like animated, essentially hand animated, I want to like move through my timeline and make sure that I'm capturing all of it. So see, it's cut a little bit here. So I'm just going to move this over. I don't want to capture that part. I don't want to capture any of the UI. So I'm just going to make sure that's off. And I can bring this down a little bit. Bring this up. You can also add more points here, but I'm just trying to show you the like quickest way to do it. All right, so now if you see this unselected, right, you can see that we just have the part in black. This is like bringing the entire screen recording in. From here, I am going to use that's not the ripple tool, I think it's the rate stretch tool. I never know the names of them. There we go. Yes. So the rate stretch tool, when you actually hit like the end of a clip and you can see it pop on, like you can see that effect, that tool, you can use it. I just click and drag it in and it basically like speeds it up to fill the size that you want it to fill, and it speeds it up. So if we play this through now, oops, objects. If we play this part through now, you can see it's much faster than the original video. I'll just show you like as an example. Let's show you the original video, which was like close to right somewhere around here. Yeah. Here's the actual speed of the video. It's kind of slow. It's not very snappy for a quick like 10-second video. It's very slow. So I would recommend to use the rate stretch tool and bring that end in, and it'll basically make it speed up to fill that rate, to fill that little space that you're trying to fill. So if we go to my edit, I have it set where like right here, it would say designing. So I'm going to unmute so you can hear the voiceover.
All of my mini prints are made here in Philadelphia. From designing.
So I wanted to say designing in that moment, right? So I'm going to bring that clip and drag it to right around there where I want it to pop in. And you can see it's still taking too long. It's just too long of a clip. So again, I'm going to use the rate stretch tool and just bring that end to where I want it to end. And let's see if it shows up here.
From designing.
All right, so it's in there. Now I want to move it. Again, just toggling that direct manipulation tool. I'm going to move it. I'm going to get it to the size that I want. And now we're gonna hit the effects panel. Again, search for color.
To printing.
Oops.
To cutting.
I hit spacebar. Okay, color. Wow, cannot type. All right, and grab that color key and drop it right over. Actually, I'm gonna show you, you could do it that way, the same way I've been showing you, but I'm gonna show you a quick little other way to do it when you've been doing this a lot of times. You can definitely just go to one of your old clips. Okay, so this is an old clip selected. See, it says accent wiggle, and this has the color key. So if you just hit this color key and press Command C, you've copied that effect. Now we're gonna go to the clip that we wanna apply that effect to. I have it here and press Command V. The color key shows up. Because both of them had a black background, it works for both clips, and that's all you need to do.
Designing.
And now you have this handwritten, effect right in your video, and it's your actual handwriting. Nobody else has this. And so when you do the screen capture, you're able to capture like the actual process of drawing versus having to animate it itself. You could animate this in, but I think it would just take a lot more time. And if you're just trying to make a quick video, this is like one very fast way to go about it. So let me play this through. We have a lot of funny like things in here. I'm gonna disable the hi. That was just an example.
All of my mini prints are made here in Philadelphia. From designing to printing.
So I have it hidden, but I also did that same technique for all the other action words essentially. So look, check it out. That same technique that I just walked you through, I used for the next few handwritten animations.
From designing to printing to cutting and packaging. Every step of the way is made with love here in our city.
Okay, so the last type of animation that I haven't shown you yet are, because here where it says in our city, this was animated the same way as designing. It was just a screen recording of me writing that in Adobe Fresco. If you want to actually start animating maybe something a little bit more complex, you see here, if I mute my audio real quick, just so we don't hear it a ton, you can see here these like circle stars that I have animating. They're like animating in and of themselves and animating in a circle. And this would be really intimidating maybe to try and tackle within Premiere Pro. You may have to open After Effects, but if you're used to using Adobe Fresco, if you're used to drawing on your iPad, another really fun way to do this is again to just use your iPad to create these videos. And something that I like to do sometimes is like I'll turn all the effects off, right? So now we have the plain video, and I'll decide like where I want this animation to go. So maybe like right here. My face is funny. So right here, let's say I would press export frame. You can do PNG. You decide where you want it to export it to. I'm going to export it to my desktop. Hit OK. And now on my desktop, I have this photo, and it has where the captions are, which is kind of helpful so you don't start animating right where the captions are if it's something that you don't want to move. Then I just like airdrop this to my iPad, waiting for it to come over to my iPad. Okay, done. And now on our iPad, which I'm going to bring you back to in a second, we can draw on top of that photo to make sure that we're drawing like in the areas that we want, in the size that we want, you know? So let me bring us back to my iPad. Here we are. I just imported this photo in. All you have to do is hit the image right here, and then image place, and then hit photos, and then it'll bring up all your photos, and you can select the one that you want. So basically, we're using this single frame to kind of guide where we need to create our animations in case you want to animate something more intricate, right? So I'm gonna just delete some of these extra stuff. All right, so now that we have this, I still wanna draw using this yellow, basically like a yellow pencil, wiggly kind of pencil. And so the best way that I would go about doing this is, I wanna zoom in. I'm gonna show you how I did those little sparkles because I think it's like a really approachable animation within Adobe Fresco that you can do. So I wanna just create maybe like a little star. Okay, that looks good. And then I want that star to like go into this kind of, and then I want it to turn into this, and I want it to like keep going, looping in that kind of animation. But if I could draw it and do frame by frame, but in Adobe Fresco, there's a much easier way, which is, okay, we drew the one little sparkle to hit here, the animation panel. So we have the sparkle right here, but if I press the plus button, it basically like onion skins it, so I can vaguely see it in the background, and I can draw the next frame, which would be like that, add another one, and draw the circle. Now if I hit play all, I have that basically sparkle. It is way too fast, right? So all we have to do is hit settings, and we can play with the frames by second. So I would lower the frames by second. I think 5 looks good. So I'm gonna hit that. And now we have one little sparkle animating, and we can bring that single sparkle into our video just by removing the background here. You could just bring the sparkle in, key color out the black background, and you would have this single sparkle that you can move around. But an alternative, if you wanna do something a little bit more, right? Trying to think about like all the different ways you can animate here, is to go into path. Wait, okay, I'm gonna bring this back as our reference. I'm gonna select the sparkle, and then I make sure you have this, the animation panel up. Now from here, I'm gonna hit path. And now this path allows me to draw where I want this sparkle to follow. So for example, if I wanted to go in a circle, I would basically draw a circle. And now you can see that sparkle is going around in a circle. And if I turn off this background and hit play all, we have it going around in a circle in a black background, which we know we can keyframe out the background. So that's another handy way to do it. But on top of that, if you go into path and then you get all these settings here on the right, all of these, we can actually add some of those same effects that we found in Adobe. Oops, I have the wrong, let me remove this. I have the wrong layer selected. Make sure you have the sparkle selected. From there, you can hit Bob, or you can hit, wait, hold on, why isn't it doing it? Path, all right. It starts to do it on the path, but that makes it kind of a little bit wild. So when you have a path, you might want to not have it do all these other motion presets, but you could. I mean, it's really up to you. So I'm going to hit path. I'm going to once again draw the circle that I wanted to go around in. And from here, you can play with these settings beyond just the presets, which are cool, but what if you don't? What if you want something else? You can go into here and add multiples. So real quick, I'm gonna add like 5, and now I have that, and that is so cute. And it's cool because now that we have that frame that we brought in from our actual video, it's easy to see how we could use this and see like the scale of the export, how thick we need the lines to be, that kind of thing. So it's like a really fun way to just preview it without having to like, just to reduce kind of the back and forth between your Premiere project and maybe Fresco or even Adobe Express. So I really like how that looks. You have tons of options here. You can go into scatter. That's when it like allows it to do like anything, scatter around the path. You can have it ease in and ease out, which is where it like ramps up and ramps down. You don't really need this. So for this effect, I wouldn't use it, but there are other effects where it's handy. You can have it fade in and fade out. So it fades in for the duration, and then at the end it fades out. So it's really up to you. It's super customizable. And all you would have to do to bring it into your Premiere project, I would turn this off. Make sure you play it. This is how I want it to look in my Premiere project. So from here, I would hit the export, publish and export. And again, you could export it as an MP4. So I'm gonna hit that, and you can pick how many times you want it to loop. So let's say I want it to loop this 5 times. So I'm gonna hit generate frames. Cool, I'm gonna hit export, and I'm gonna airdrop it straight to my MacBook. Perfect. So now I have it here. Once again, I'm gonna bring it to my project because I'm trying my best to stay organized here. I'm gonna rename it, maybe like stars in a circle. And then I'm just going to drag it into my project. I'm gonna go back to my project, grab it, drag it into my graphics folder, drag it into my actual project, my sequence. This is way too long, I'm gonna cut it. That's how I would do it if I don't set in and out points. I just like drag it and then cut it. And we have it right here. You can't see it because I turned all these layers off. So now it's right here. And all I need to do, just to like show you how you can speed this up, is press copy on one that you know has that color keyed out already. Go over here, press paste. Now it doesn't have a background. There's nothing underneath it to show that though. So I'm gonna bring it into my actual sequence, and now you can see that it's on top. Oh, that actually, it kind of works right there. That cracks me up. But I want it to be like right here, right? So I'm showing you how I built, I'm showing you exactly how I built this. So I would drag this over to where I want it in my sequence, which is like starting right around there. Let's play that through. Sorry about that, guys. Wow. Okay, let me just replay that. So now that I dragged the stars in a circle into my graphics folder. From there, I'll just redo it real quick. All right, so we have it in our graphics folder, stars in a circle. I renamed it. Drag it into your timeline. I'm gonna trim it because that's way too big. And from there, I'm gonna click and drag it on over to where I need it in my timeline. So I would need it like right around here. This is like how long I need it to last. And all I need to do again is go over to a previous one that I keyframed out, select the color key, press copy, go back to your clip, press paste, and now there it is. Again, you could have done the key color from scratch, but if you don't need to, it's not a big deal there. And I'm gonna just go ahead and maybe reposition this. So I'm gonna hit toggle direct manipulation and make it a little bit smaller. There we go. So let's play this through. I have audio off. Okay. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. All right, everyone. So here we have all the different, we have like 3 different styles of bringing in animations depending on what resources and what tools you have at your disposal. And if you have any questions along the way, leave them in the chat. I'm happy to get to some questions, and just that way you can actually put some personality into your videos. All right, so here we go.
All of my mini prints are...
We have both of the wiggles on. Let me turn off the old wiggles. There we go. Here we go.
All of my mini prints are made here in Philadelphia. From designing, to printing, to cutting, and packaging. Every step of the way is made with love here in our city.
So there you have it. Those are all different ways to kind of create this hand-drawn animation effect. The cool thing is that now you could technically like keep these clips in your projects and bring them into future projects to kind of build this like library of hand-drawn animations that you can bring into any video. That way you don't always have to be creating new ones. You can basically like start relying on your own bank of animations that you created. This is just like one of my favorite ways to go about it. And all right. Because then you can basically create these graphics and bring them into any sort of project that you have. So you don't, again, like you don't have to keep creating new ones. Now, I want to show you just some other options that we have here. You could also, with this animation, go over to your effects, video effects, and then go to, make sure that I'm not covering the part that I need to be covering. Okay. And go into video transitions. Oops, I have color selected. So video transitions, and then you have all of these effects that help with transitions between clips. And again, because we imported our handwritten elements as videos, they are clips that you can manipulate using some other effects. So we have these, which are also like animations. I'm going to zoom into the timeline here so you can see where we're at. Basically, I'm in this, I want to animate the stars in a circle to maybe pop in a different way. We have this iris, which is around. So I'm going to drag this one just right on top right here. And then I'm going to just hover over it. You'll get this little icon that you can like drag in to make that effect not as long. We want it to be quite fast. And now you'll see that it should just pop in kind of like with this circle. It's going to be hard to see because the animation is already a circle, but let's see how it looks.
Here in our city.
So that was so fast. I'm going to drag it just for the sake of the tutorial so you can really see what's happening here.
Here in our city.
It's so quick. Let me see. You see right there, it starts to come in a circle as opposed to just popping in. Another one would be like the wipe. Let's go into wipe. Drag that there. I think this will be more obvious.
Here in our city.
See it wiped on from left to right. So these are just like more subtle ways that you can bring in your videos and add like layers of animation to it, especially if you want them to like fade in and out and you didn't necessarily like do that on the program that you created the hand-drawn element. If you didn't animate that part and now you decide like, actually, I need it to be a little bit smoother, you can do that right within Premiere Pro and play with all sorts of effects that it already has here. So this is just like one of the many ways that you can kind of manipulate these animations. Because I showed you how to keyframe them if you needed to keyframe them around a certain object, or if you just wanted to, you know, subtly bring them in and out. So let's play everything through one more time, just so I can share everything that we did with you. And this is everything that we made right here during our live stream.
All of my mini prints are made here in Philadelphia. From designing, to printing, to cutting, and packaging. Every step of the way is made with love here in our city.
So all of those hand-drawn elements we created, the Philadelphia one I made in Adobe Express and just used like that funny jumping up and down. I think I would change it if I did it again, but you can play with it. There's a million ways to do everything. Thank you so much for watching this content support group. I am so excited that I was able to do this mini series. If you haven't watched episode 1 and episode 2, be sure to catch those. It's about batch recording voiceovers and then creating really fun animated carousels using Adobe Express, so don't miss those. And if you have any questions about our tutorial today on hand-drawn animations, you can go over to my Instagram at Fabiolita Draws and send me any questions, drop a comment, give it a thumbs up if you really enjoyed this tutorial. And that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you very much and stay tuned, hopefully for another content support group soon. All right, guys, bye.